Well, I'm back in Austin, Texas, after being out of town for more than a week and a half and broadcasting from the road, and it's good to be back in the studios with the crew. And we've got a doozy here. We could probably have 4 or 5 shows just out of what you're about to see tonight. I'm proud of the crew. They always overproduce because, well, they love liberty and they want to expose corruption and tyranny. Sunshine is the answer to the darkness. We've got Wayne Madsen, formerly with the NSA. We'll talk about Breitbart's mysterious death and more, and the threats that Wayne Madsen's been getting. Then I'm going to premiere here the hour-and-a-half speech I gave in Dallas, my blueprint to defeat the New World Order. So this is going to be like a 3-hour transmission or close to it this evening on the Infowars Nightly News for all of you out there watching. But first, I want to get into Texas Independence Day, because I forgot and didn't mention this on the radio today. My family on both sides was involved in Texas independence. I've studied the history. My mother's part of the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, and I can unequivocally tell you that despite what the government training camps try to teach you in public schools here in Texas and across the U.S., there was nothing racial about the war for independence. Slavery had nothing to do with it. It was all over the fact that the earlier Mexican government was fair, let you have guns and own your property. Santa Anna overthrew the government, became a dictator, took people's property all over Mexico. He had rebellions in the south of Mexico as well. And he later got overthrown, by the way. And that more than 35% of those that rebelled were Hispanic Mexicans, who then became Texans. And the fellow, you can go read it online, Mainline History, University of Texas, who wrote the Texas Constitution, was Hispanic. So they try to steal the Texas birthright from Hispanics. I know because I went to public school and I went to college. It was badmouth Texas. They tried to ban Texas Independence Day at UT to make it some type of racial issue. And I'm not saying that in the years that followed there wasn't friction and stuff that went on, but it was not about race, ladies and gentlemen. It was about private property, and that's why the war started when the Mexican troops came to Gonzales to take the cannons and guns they'd been given to be part of the Mexican militia to defend against Indians and other things, and also outlaws. So they came to take the guns that the previous Mexican government that was freer had given them. And they were going to take their private guns, and so they ran up a flag and said, come and take it. Mexican troops showed up. There was a big gun battle. You know the rest of it. Alamo, everybody gets killed. Then the Battle of San Jacinto, all of it. All of it. And on this day, March 2nd, 1836, the Lone Star State was born, the only state that was its own country, and then opted in to the Republic. And Texas has the strongest rights under international law. We have the French legation, all of it, because Texas is the Lone Star State. And I thought that I would just mention the true history of that, because the system attacks it, because they don't want Hispanics to feel like they're Texans when they're as Texan as it gets. There's nobody more Texan than Hispanic Texans, and they don't want you to have that birthright. Don't let them take it away from you. Okay, shifting gears into other news here today. The BMJ, British Medical Journal, admits antipsychotic drugs kill far more people than terrorism. Well, yeah, in the trials of Eli Lilly for Prozac in the early 80s, it massively increased psychotic breaks, suicidal behavior, you name it. A new report published by the British Medical Journal has found that dangerous antipsychotic drugs are responsible for killing at least 1,800 dementia patients a year, which means that more people are killed by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration FDA-approved dementia drugs every 2 years than died in 9/11 terror attacks. And that's a very low number. And, of course, you get into all the other killings and the rest of it from the other drugs. It's in the hundreds of thousands every year that these drugs are killing. I don't like illegal drugs either. Heroin, cocaine, those are certainly bad for you, but they kill nothing compared to what prescription drugs that are just synthetic versions souped up. You know where heroin comes from? They'd sawed off tens of thousands of arms and legs on both sides of the Civil War in the 1860s here, and people were addicted to opium. So a company, Big Pharma, came out with something that would cure you of opium addiction. It was heroin, something like 10 times stronger, souped up opium. So, it's kind of like, we'll get you off the heroin with the methadone, which I don't think is worse, but it's certainly not better. It's just crazy. So There's the true history of that. These are just drug pushers that are so established that they've made all the organic drugs illegal because they're in competition with them. Okay, continuing here.